Namaskar.
Namaste.
We are in a new talk today, and that is about the interrelation in poetry beyond the language and beyond the culture. Why I'm talking about this? Because this beautiful writer, artist, and teacher who work for the publication of children, Baris Behramoglu from Turkey, is with us today. She is here to talk about her experience with translation. Baris' name is very much Indian name, or we have adopted it from Turkey language because we have many many words from different languages. So we have Baris, and your is a Baris.
It's Baris.
So, Baris. Okay.
Baris.
Baris. Is it rain? Is it rain?
It means peace in Turkish.
Peace. Okay. For us, Barish is rain. So it is Barish. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought it is rain.
Rain. No, Yağmur is rain. It's also a girl's name. Yeah.
So she born in Turkey, learned French, and now she is living in France, and she is working a lot for children publication, isn't? And
I'm doing a master's degree. I'm in my second year in children's literature. Yes.
Yeah. So that is very important in children's literature.
Yeah.
Second thing that you have written novels, you have written stories, and you have written many articles also. And moreover, you are a translator who has translated almost 14 books. So, so very, you have done so much work in your very young age itself, and you are still working a lot. So, let us talk about it.
Okay.
But today's topic, the interrelation in poetry beyond the language and beyond the culture. You know that we belong to a different group, means cultural group. I am from India, you are from Turkey. And you have learned different language because you study for the French language.
Mm-hmm.
And you know Turkish because you are basically from there. But you have translated from different countries, poets from different countries, from a different land, which belong to a different culture, different and languages. So what could be cause for it?
Mainly it's coincidence. It's my editor's it's my editor's choice. So I've been translating for 20 years now, and I'm trying to keep the pleasure side of this very meticulous job on, which requires a lot of time and concentration. So I don't want to translate 4 to 5 books a year. It's more like 1 or 2 books a year. and those books are chosen by my editors. So I'm not the one who decides which book or which author I will translate. I translate most of the times, mainly, I will say, not most of the time, but mainly from French to Turkish. Even if those authors are not French, I translate from French to Turkish. And lately, when I find myself in poetry translations, I started to translate from English to Turkish. Before that, in my young age, when I first started to work in the editorial field, I was translating articles and files, news for different magazines and for different structures from English to Turkish. But I never translated novels or essays from English to Turkish. It was always, I will say, simple things, short things, maybe short documents, and sometimes technical documents. But yeah, I've been translating from English to Turkish, mainly poetry, and it's just recent.
Poetry is translating poetry is not easy thing.
Yeah.
And see that I will show you a poster. You will see that poster. That poetry translation is like playing piano sonata on a trombone. So translating poetry is not easy thing. And you are saying that I'm doing simple thing. So I don't find that you are doing simple thing. You are doing most difficult thing. Yes, story. Yes, you can say that. Yes, when you start translating poetry, one thing is there in the translation of poetry, that once you start translating, you can finish in a time. In one translation can be finished within a time limit. But when you are translating a novel, you have to read completely, and then you have a connection. You translate the novel.
Yeah, there's the time issue. Yeah, of course, it's also the editor who fixes it. So it depends on your contract, but it's normally they want the translation done in 3 months, just a little bit later, maybe, if you have the chance. But poetry, it looks like it's faster. It looks like it's easier, but actually it's not. It takes more time than translating novels.
That's what I wanted to say, that it takes more time than translating novels. It looks easy because you can feel, because for me, I translate. When I translate poetry, I have to make 4 or 5 drafts. You can't, because it's like that digging the poetry, because even though when you are translating because when you are translating from French to Turkish, you may know the French culture and Turkish culture, so it is easy to bring here. There was some political relation also between the French and Turkish. But suppose when you have chosen my poems, or your editor has chosen my poems in a series of word poetry, that is also I should congratulate your publisher, because they are bringing the word poetry in a Turkish contemporary word poetry, and I'm really, really grateful to your publisher that they have chosen my poetry in this series, which is very important.
Yeah.
So when you are choosing, or your publisher is choosing without thinking much, But as a translator, you have little difficulty because I belong to a different language group. My expressions are different.
Yeah.
My expressions are different. My family setup, my society is different. My the word coining, the phrases are different. My phrases are different. For example, some phrases in my poetry are very Indian, so you have to open them, and and you have not come to India. So how did you make that? How did you make it possible?
Magic? No. No. I have different perception of culture, of borders. Yeah, of course. Of course, you live in India. You're Indian. I'm Turkish. I live in France. But for your to give an example for your poems, because my first translation from English to Turkish was Ion Diaconescu, a Romanian poet. It was the same for him, but yeah, as you said, it's more European, so I can easily find similar values, maybe in his poems, in his words, in his images. But I don't. For me, India is not a foreign country. I will explain. And I don't think that India, for anyone else, is very different from our culture. When I say our culture, I'm talking about the Turkish culture. Obviously, I don't know deeply about India, but I think that anyway, it's not possible without going there and living in India to understand the values, the taboos deeply. But I will say I feel them. Why? I will explain. Because first of all, we live in a world where we have access to knowledge very easily. I think in that sense, we can't no longer talk about borders or being foreigner to other culture and other livings. If, of course, we are open-minded and we let ourselves to be open to the others. In my case, when I was translating your poetry, I felt that we had similar values with the Turkish culture. For instance, I remember your poem, "They are goats, they are girls, not goats." I had an echo in me because still in Turkey, in some regions where where patriarchy is leading the society, women, girls don't have values. So so for me here, I don't see you as an Indian, as an Indian poet. I see you as a poet, as a woman poet who tells about universal values, universal problems. And of course, for some poems where you used Hindi words, it was complicated because as I told before, I don't know the culture deeply. Of course, I know India through thematic documentaries, experiences of people who visited India, through art, through photography, cinema, of course. But there's a language barrier when you use Hindi words. There's a language barrier because your poems were translated in English, but in some of your poems you kept the Hindi words. So I had the chance to contact you and to ask you the meanings. Before that, of course, I did my research because this is, I think you will probably ask me the question, my working method. Of course, I did my research first. I went to the internet, and I tried to refer on other books. But some time to time, I had the chance to ask you, Rati. I think that this is the meaning. Is it? Am I right? And you corrected me. And sometimes you said, yes, that's correct. And so I said, okay, I did well. I did my research well.
Most of the time, your research was very good. So it is, we can say that you could connect because you are translating a women poet. And as a woman, and you have mostly selected the poems which I have written in your age. So love, the space of a woman in the society, and the love in the society, or love and the parenthood, or the family relations, like these poems. So that is one thing which helped you. But I was very much impressed by your research, because I remember that you are very systematic. When you send me questions, it was graphically corrected, very well arranged. One side, because I used to translate my poems in English, so this was the first draft, sometime in a blog, and internet, sometime the revised, and then in book it is third presentation. So, and some are translated by others also. So maybe their English is better than me. So it is different. So, but you were keeping that which answer is closer to your meaning. I really say that that question, that was very much, actually, I was very much impressed by you, because you did not go for the correct English translation. You have gone to the correct Hindi meaning.
Yeah.
So that is actually the quality of understanding a poetry. You wanted to know, you wanted me to explain that why did I write? And then you forget about the English translation, and you have done only, you have followed my Hindi, which was actually correct expression. So that was the one thing. You said that you have already said that why you have chosen poetry. But do you feel that you are a story writer? You have written novel also. Do you feel that translating poetry is more interesting? I'm not talking about the work, because the project is given by your editor. But do you feel that while translating poetry, you enjoy more than a story translation?
Definitely. I didn't know that. It's I will have to say that it's thanks to my father. I grew up in an intellectual environment, where literary criticism is floating all around. So I was, and my father, my uncle, my cousin from my generation, Onur Behramoglu, are all poets. So I'm the daughter of a poet. So even if I had the idea of translating poetry I was not a little, but very much intimidated. I never had the courage to go in that field, and my father was also his bar is very high. I heard all my childhood and lately on that he was criticizing people who were translating poems like because they thought it was simple or just because they knew the language. So I wasn't I didn't let myself do it. I didn't. It wasn't legitimized for me. You know what I mean? So when my father came to me and he said that I think you should translate poetry because I feel that you have a talent in understanding images and using you have a talent, a natural talent using the languages. I didn't take him very seriously. I said, okay, he's just, because it was a hard time. I was going to move to, I'm his only child. I was going to move to another country. So I said to myself, it's maybe a way for him to keep in touch with me through poetry. And no, he actually he sent me a few days later the email of Ion Diaconescu, and he said to me, just contact him, ask him for his poems, make a thematic compilation, and send me your translation roughs. So he threw me to the ocean, like, and so I find myself in poetry. And then I realized that I really find myself, and I think it's, I'm genetically speaking, I think I have it in my, if I'm not so ambitious, it's not so ambitious to say, but I think I have it in my genes, it's engraved in me. It's like, it's not just translating the words. It's not because I speak English, French, that I can't translate poetry to Turkish. It's like I try to understand the images. I try to understand the poet, his feelings, why he needed to write those verses. So there were times where it's like a puzzle. There were times where I slept with one word. I spent weeks with just one word trying to understand why the poet chose this word and not the synonym or another word. So I love the enigma. I don't know, the enigma of poetry. It's like digging. It's like digging and cleaning the dust and. I also love the mediator role, in poetry, in stories and novels. Also, it's I love it. But it's more mathematical, It's more mathematic. It's syntax, grammar. So you translate, then you read your text, and you send it to your editor, and it depends of the editorial politics. They change it, they don't change it, But poetry is more intime. It's more it's personal. It's personal. So that's why I love translating poetry more than I translate stories and novels.
So the people who do not know about the father, Baris' father, the Istanbul Behramoglu is contemporary, the most important poet of Turkey. And I have seen many times, not in one festival, 3-4 festival, I was there with Istanbul. And I find that this is the only poet in the world for who has to take hours to sign his book, because sometimes it is the morning time is just to signing book for the ataul, and there will be 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hours, and very long queue, 4,000, 1,000 to 1,000, more than 1,000 students, young people come. So so one a poet who is very popular in young generation, I have not seen. Another thing that he's, I think, one of the very rare poet that whose statue is there in the museum. I have seen his statue in the museum, and we have taken one photo also, Atol, and his statue. So he's one of the most important poets. So this is your actually a very great thing that you belong to that family. And then what I came to know that your grandfather, who was due to war, was in an orphanage, and then he became an engineer. It is not an easy thing from orphanage child to become an engineer, and then he had 3 or 4 sons, and I think all were very talented. So you belong to and your cousin brother Omar, I know him, he's a very fantastic poet. So that is there, it is in your genes. But yes, if you enjoy translating poetry, sometimes it happens that we enjoy translating poetry because we cannot write everything. For me, that I cannot write everything. So when I translate others' poetry, I feel that I have done my work. What I didn't write, I am translating. So that's what I feel, because I also enjoy very much translating poetry. Another thing that some poems opens for you. They open. They talk to you. They communicate with you. And some poems are very closed. They can't communicate with you. Maybe the poet will be very great, and then you have to take dictionary and all, but the poetry won't talk to you. So what happens? What happened when you translate your country's poets? Suppose you have you translate from Turkish to French?
No, professionally not, but for pleasure, yes. And recently, it's weird you're asking this. Recently, I have because I teach Turkish. I teach Turkish here in Toulouse to French people who are just interested in the language. So we. Despite doing just syntax, grammar, I also want them to understand the culture, to understand the roots. I've recently translated one poem of Orhan Veli, which is for me easy to understand. So yes. And recently, I've translated one of your poems in French for one of my master class.
Which was that poem?
Which one was it? It's like I want to grow words.
Oh,
small words, not a jungle. In fact, it was a project for. I thought about. Well, I won't tell all my ideas, but it was it's an idea I have in mind, and I find, because I'm studying children's literature, I thought why not translate poets who writes for adults, not for children, but translate some of their poems for children, and with illustration, and I choose one of your this poem, because I think it's all of your poems, but especially this one was I read it to my son, and he understood. Like but he understood in his own way. In his own imagination, it had other connotation that we adults can't understand. So yeah, recently I've translated two poems from Turkish to French, and your poem also to French. Yeah.
Shall we read some poems before we start our communication? Which poem you want to read? Tell me.
Oh, it depends. I've prepared everything. I have your English version. I have your Turkish. I prepared. Just tell me, and
I will read in Hindi, and you read first. First, you read in Turkish, then I will read in Hindi.
Okay.
So which poem you are going to read? So I will open that.
Oh, just tell me. I don't know. Just tell me. I will find it. Reincarnation. Maybe we can start with reincarnation. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I talked about I talked about two of your poems, like women. They are girls, not goats, maybe, or I don't know. Just tell me.
Okay, reincarnation is in my hand. Okay. So shall we start with that?
So I will find the reincarnation in my. I don't have the book. 22. I hope they will send it to me. So I think my editor is watching. I should mention her because she's a wonderful editor. She's also a translator herself. Mm-hmm. She's specialized in Old Turkish, and she's a translator herself. So she's a wonderful editor. So I'm telling her the message. I still wait for your books. I have my PDF. So reincarnation.
I will show by that the cover of book. Mm-hmm. You search the book. Search the poem. Mm-hmm. This 22. Is the book cover.
Yeah. It's 22. So let's start. I will wear my glasses. Reenkarnasyon. Bir laboratuvar masasına koyup genlerimi başladım aramaya geçmiş hayatımın hikayesini. Önce kanat çırptı genlerim, iyi uçamadıklarından anladım. Asla bir kelebek, bir kuş olmadım. Böyle bir çabası hiç olmadı kanatlarımın. Kıpırtısız yatan genlerim kıvrılmadılar bile. Hiçbir zaman bir solucan olmadım demek ki. Karınca ve bal arısı masallarını da boş ver. Asla sıra bekleyemem ben. Kendimi daha çok bir masa, bir sandalye olarak görüyorum ve ardına kadar açıldığımda, dünyaya hızlıca göz attığım, kapandığımda sayısız sorunu ardımda bıraktığım bir pencere olduğumu öğreniyorum. Pencereyi yere kadar genişletip onu bir kapıya dönüştürüyorum. Açıp dışarı çıkıyorum.
Beautiful. Your language is so beautiful, and when you read it, so beautiful, as if my poetry has got a new birth. So I will read in Hindi. पूर्व जन्म. मैंने अपने एक जीन्स को प्रयोगशाला की मेज पर रख दिया. मैंने अपनी एक जीन्स को प्रयोगशाला की मेज पर रख दिया और खोजने लगी पूर्व जन्म की कहानी. मेज पर रखा जीन्स फड़फड़ाया पर उड़ा नहीं. यह तो मैं समझती हूँ कि मैं तितली कदापि नहीं थी, ना ही चिड़िया. मेरे पंखों में कभी जुम्बिश ही नहीं थी. जीन्स आंखें खोले पड़ा रहा, रेंगा तक नहीं. केंचुए के गुण को उसने कभी नहीं जिया. अब चींटी और मधुमक्खी की बात छोड़ते. इतना कतार अनुशासन तो मुझ में कभी रहा ही नहीं. मैंने अपने आप को मेज से जोड़ा, फिर कुर्सी से, और फिर जाकर समझा मैं खिड़की थी. खुली तो जमाने भर की निगाहें मेरे भीतर, बंद तो जमाने भर की कहानियां. मैंने अपने जीन्स को दरवाजे सा जमीन पर उतार दिया और खुद बाहर निकल गई. Thank you. So you read very well. Beautiful.
It's the first time I hear you reading. Yeah, in Hindi. It's beautiful.
Shall we read some poems from the sea? The sea.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I love that. I love that poem very much because I have written when I was of your age, and I have written that poem, and I think it is very different poem. I can't write now in this age, so I would like to read few paras of the sea.
Okay. So I will find Deniz. Sea is Deniz, and it's also a name. It's a name for boys and girls in Turkish. Is it also in Hindi?
Sea, it's not a. It's a poem. What do you call it? It's sea only. The sea. Samandar, huh?
Deniz, it's a name that we give to children. Deniz, do we?
Yeah, we can give any name that is there. We can give any name to our children. But it was actually this poem was written when I was almost. It was actually from. For months, I was feeling that I was dreaming for the sea because I am living in Kerala where the sea is there. But and I feel the smell of the sea, not like because I live in the place of sea, and so when I have gone after a long time to watch that sea. I find it very different, and this was the different. This was long before this globalization and business kind of thing. So it was the sea and people. That's all. Now, when you go to beach, you don't find the sea. You find the people. You find the food. You find the vendors. But sea is missing. I have written some poems afterward that, but this is the sea when there was only sea and the people. So.
Should I start?
Yeah, you start or I start? First one. First.
It's a long poem. Should we read all of it, and you read in Hindi?
No, one.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, I'm preparing. Sorry. Birbirlerinden farklıdır denizle gökyüzü, farklıdır bulutlarda. Fakat kıyıda durup onun kollarına atladığında, alır onu beşik gibi salladığı kucağına, ıslatır yüzüne dökülen saçları, okşar kalçalarını, dinlendirir ayak uçlarında başını ve sonrasında dönüp bakar ona. Fark kalır mı onunla tutkulu bir sevgili arasında?
बहुत अलग है समंदर आसमान से, अलग है एक बादल भी दूसरे से, फिर भी उसे लहराती बाहों में भर, चेहरे पर बिखरे बालों को भिगो, जांघों को छूता हुआ तलवों पर सिर रख समंदर वापस लौटता है, तो कहाँ अलग रह जाता है वह अतृप्त प्रेमी से, कहाँ अलग रह जाता है वह एक अतृप्त प्रेमी से. Second.
Her akşam deniz buluttan odunlarını bir araya getirir. Güneşin kutsal çukuruna bırakır ve dalgalardan adak yapıp kara büyüyü çağırır. Her akşam gizli haberlere gebe karanlıktan duvar içinde büyümekteki dünya.
हर सांझ बादली समिधाएं लेकर सूरज के होम कुंड में लहरों की आहुतियां डाल समंदर रचता है एक अभिचार. समंदर रचता है एक अभिचार. हर सांझ अभिचार से उगती कालिख खबर देती है किसी षड्यंत्र की. दुनिया उगी है जिससे, दुनिया उगी है जिससे.
Şafak vakti denizden yükselir, parmağı dudaklarında bir yıldız. Bana Sana ve onlara yalvarır olmamız için dikkatli ve sessiz. Yalnız olan sen değilsin sadece. Tek başınayız kendi denizimizde. Hepimiz.
रात के काले सन्नाटे में जमीन ने उगा ली रोशनियों की कतार। आसमान का क्या, वह तो टांगे रहता है दीवले हर रात। समंदर को देखो, लेकर चला आ रहा है रोशनी की कतार, चूल्हों को जलाती आग उस पार। मैंने देखा उसे और समंदर को, उसमें लबलहा रहा था समंदर और समंदर में डबडबा रहा था वह। उसने देखा मुझे और समंदर को एक साथ। सूरज डूब रहा था समंदर में और मैं डूब रही थी सूरज के साथ। हम दोनों ने देखा एक दूसरे को और डूबने लगे एक दूसरे में।
Maybe I'm wondering if in the original it was 3-4. I think you had the two paragraphs. No? We were okay. Gördüm onu akşam. Denizin içine uzanmıştı ve gördüm denizin de onu usulca okşayışını. O da gördü beni denizle. Sönüyordu güneş onun içinde. Ben ise batmaktaydım. Güneşle birlikte.
किसी ने कहा खुला आसमान है यह, इतना खुला जितने की खुली मुट्ठी। किसी ने कहा गहरा समंदर है, इतना गहरा जितना कि आदमी का दिल। मैंने देखा एक खाली कैनवास था वह, जिस पर खिंची नहीं एक भी रेख। थैंक यू।
Gecenin derin sessizliğinde topraktan yükseliyor bir ışın. Tuhaf olan her akşam gökyüzünün ışıklı fenerlerini asması, denize bakıp gerisinde kalması, fırını harlayan ışık ufkunu onun yüzeyinde taşımasıydı.
वह समंदर है गंध का, तैरती रोशनियों के तन की फड़फड़ाते नथुने मछलियों से। वह गंध घुसती है रोम रोम में सीपियों के कणों सी, तन बन जाता है गंध का समुंदर नथुनों से रोमों में घुस। अभिमंत्रित कर कहानी सुनाता है मछुआरों के पसीने की, जल तंतुओं की क्रीड़ा और जहाजी यात्राओं का।
Gökyüzünün açılmış bir avuç gibi olduğunu anlattı biri. Denizin bir insanın kalbi kadar derin olduğunu söyledi bir başkası. Ben ise onu gördüğümde üzerinde ne bir çizgi ne de bir çizik olan boş bir tuvaldi sadece.
भीग रहा है समंदर बारिश में, रेगिस्तानी बच्चे सा खिलखिलाता हुआ। भीग रहा है समंदर अपने ही आंसुओं से टापू पर बैठी युवती सा मुस्कुराता हुआ। भीग रहा है समंदर स्नेह की बौछार से अपनों से जुदा हुए दर्द में सिसकारता हुआ। भीग रहा है समंदर गर्मी के बाद पहली बरसात में। इट्स ओवर, है ना? इज इट ओवर ना? Yeah, thank you.
No, I have until 10.
Wow, so I have this another thing. Maybe okay. I tell you one thing that I have only this much only in this book. I tell you one thing that Hindi spreads it.
Yeah.
Hindi, English actually when a word you translate into English or sentence, it becomes small.
Yeah.
But Hindi it spreads. It is bigger. The translation is another problem is that because I was translating myself, so what I have done that sometime I rewrite something in English.
Yeah. I figured it out. Yes. Yeah, we talked with you. Yeah. But all of your versions are so grabbing. I feel your poems really here, and
See, this is I saw that in English they are 10.
10. Yeah. I have something with 10.
So in English they are 10, or in
Yeah.
Hindi they are 7. But the end is almost same, where maybe somewhere in between. Some because in English the poems become very small, so I might have added while translating myself.
Or
So,
maybe I think that maybe you didn't, because I heard, for instance, Baris. You said that it was
10th one.
yeah.
10th one.
So I heard it, and you have it in the poem. I think what you did is you in English you divided more than you did in Hindi. That's why you have 10 paragraphs in English and not in Hindi. I think you read all the poem.
And you have not.
I have not.
So actually, this is the liberty of a poet when he translates himself, because my biggest problem is that some poems I have translated into English and they are published in English, but I lost in Hindi. So I don't have Hindi version of those poems. That is also one problem with the translation, own poetry. And another poetry is another thing is that when you translate your own poetry, you always imagine in your original language. You don't imagine in a translated language. So in this poem, actually, I wanted to ask, the second para is very, very Indian kind of. It is like a homum, like a homokunda and all. So did you get it? Did you find it?
No, it was one of the questions I asked you. I don't know if you remember, because you used I will find the English version. Let me check.
Abida.
Hayanda. It was Hayanda, isn't it? Ayanda. Maybe I missed.
Abida.
Yes. And so I asked you because I did my and I will show you because I wrote on your books. I'm sorry, but this is the way I work. Some people don't like when we write on books, but I do.
No, that is good also.
I will show you, because you will see that I've put the original meaning. I will look where is it. I will do it fast. And I asked you, and you translated to me in English. So this is how I managed to find the Turkish meaning. Let me see. There is no index in it, so it's hard for me to find. It was well, what I did, I will tell you what I did. Of course, I found a dictionary in internet. You God, hopefully we have it. Internet. I have found a dictionary of Hindi to English, I think it was, and I have found the meaning of those words, and I asked you if they were right. And
rituals.
Yeah, and you corrected one. It wasn't the right one, and the second one was the right one. So this is how I translated in Turkish.
One more thing I was interested in this portion, because this portion is talking about a kind of ritual in India. This is a pure Indian ritual where you take the offering and you're offering in the fire. And that ritual, yes, Persians have that rituals, but I don't think that in Turkish that kind of ritual is there.
No.
So that is why I was talking. It was a quite like taking the home. There's this offering and offering in the fire, and that the fire is and then abichar is like a black magic, creating a black
Yeah.
magic. So that whole creation was very, very Indian. That is why I was interested there in that part.
Yeah.
So could you manage to bring that image in your poetry?
Yes.
Second part.
Yes, I managed to bring this image to Turkish, but of course, it's just people who know Indian tradition who will get to understand the real meaning. For those who knows the tradition, they will it will automatically pop on in their mind this image of wood, fire, and for the others, it's a very lyric and poetic image. Like maybe it could be fire, could be sunset. Why not?
Yeah, sure,
like it depends on the knowledge of the reader. Look, this is what.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Actually, sometimes not knowing the culture is also helpful, because then you create your own image.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I created that image, my own background was in my mind, because poetry comes automatically, no? But when poet is then audience is are reading it, maybe they don't read my mind or my image, but they may be creating their own image. That is, as you say, that fire can be sun, and then black magic is also there, abida, bichar, and all that. So that can also, they can also create their own beautiful images or whatever images. So that is also a way of translating, because you need not translate everything. That is why purposely I bought this poem. That is, sometimes you create such a beautiful magic in translation that audience will get a new that is why we say that why in translation your poetry get a new life. I always feel happy when some good translator translate my good poet or good writer translate my poetry, because it means my poetry is getting new life.
Yeah, I totally agree. And once you write something, it doesn't belong to you anymore.
Yes,
it belongs to the reader, and it's the case for poetry, but also for novels and other genres. But mostly for poetry, yeah, it belongs to the reader. The readers. They took whatever they want, they need from those poetry. So I think it's a very rich genre, and yeah.
So we will talk. We will read another poem like Tongue, and which is actually universal. Actually, now these days, universal, because now we all have many tongue. So shall we read?
Okay. So Tongue, Tongue. It's one of your poems that I find myself, because Turkish is my father's tongue. It's not my mother. My mother, she's Turkish, but she has Russian roots. So her and her family speak Russian. So and then when I was 5, we moved to France. So I learned French. And then at school we learned different language, English, Spanish, and I tried to learn Russian afterwards. So when I first read your poem, Tongue, I said, okay, this is my poem, because yeah, Tongue. Just let me find Diller 68.
I read this poem in Struga Poetry Festival also,
Yeah.
and everyone liked it because it belongs to everyone. Because everyone has this thing
Yeah.
now. It is a universal truth that
Yeah.
we know many languages, and we have to. Sometimes we forget that which is our own language.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, please.
So, diller. Diller. Ağzım dolu renk renk çeşnilerle, metafor ve benzetmelerle. Başlangıçta sabahları erkenden yerleştirdiğim ve geceleri uykunun bakımına bıraktığım tek bir dilim vardı. Onun bir aloe bitkisi gibi serpilip dallara ayrıldığının, 2, 3, 4 parçaya bölündüğünün ayrımına varamadım. Uykudayken bile susmadılar. Günlerin hesabını şaşırttılar. Konuşturmadılar düşleri. Yine de bu kadar dil arasında bana ait değildi hiçbiri.
जीभ। मेरे मुंह में कई जीभें रहती हैं, कई रंग और कई स्वाद, कई प्रास अनुप्रास लिए। शुरू में मेरे पास केवल एक जीभ थी, जिसे मैं सुबह सुबह लगा लिया करती थी और रात को हवाले कर देती थी नींद के। मुझे पता नहीं कब वह ग्वारपाठे सी विभक्त होती गई, 2, 3 और 4 शाखाओं में। नींद अब भी बतिया लेती है जीभों के सहारे, और दिन भूल जाते हैं गिनती, सपने हो गए हैं गूंगे। इतनी जीभों के रहते हुए भी मेरे पास अपनी कोई जीभ नहीं है, मेरे पास अपने कोई जीभ नहीं है। So thank you. When you read it, it looks very beautiful. What else you want? One poem I want to talk about. When I read this poem, and it was for my daughter, and when I read in Istanbul, so all the audience loved it very much. So I think that it is a beautiful translation. And so she smiled.
She smiles.
She smiles.
She smiles. What was the Turkish translation of the title? I try to recall. Sözcük büyütmek, yaşınma. Ah, 57. Yeah, I should put my glasses on because I'm...
You look beautiful in glasses.
Yeah, those are my uncle's glasses.
Oh.
So I said, you give it to me. So, gülümsedi. Onun gülümsemesini anlatmak için benzetmeler arıyordum. Göz alıcı güneş, zambak çiçeği, parlak ay ışığı. Tüm bu benzetmeler bayattı. Yenilerini arayayım dedim. Aniden tıklamaya başlayan durmuş bir kol saati, posta kutusunda duran bir mektup, unutulmuş bir insanın gönderdiği. Yok, sevmedim hiçbirini. Sözcüklerin tamamını bir kenara koydum. Mutfağa gidip kaynamış süte pirinç ekledim. Sütün içindeki pirinç gülümsedi, annem gibi. Laubalilik ve dertlerin ortasında ışıldayan bir gülümseme. Guava ve bir tutam tız gördüğünde aydınlanan pırıl pırıl bir gülümseme. Kaşığı bir kenara koydum ve sözcükleri elime aldım. Gülümsedi. Tıpkı annem gibi.
Thank you. वह मुस्कुराई, वह मुस्कुराई, मैं उसके लिए उपमाएं खोजने लगी। खिलती धूप, लिली का फूल, चमकती चांदनी, ये सभी उपमाएं मुझे बासी लगने लगी। सोचा कि नई उपमाएं खोजूं, रुकी हुई घड़ी का चल पड़ना, मेल बॉक्स में किसी भूले बिसरे का खत, कसकर लगी भूख के सामने रोटी और चटनी। नहीं, मुझे कोई भी उपमान नहीं जानते हैं। मैंने सभी शब्दों विचारों को सहेज कर रख दिया और रसोई में जाकर दूध में चावल डालने लगी। तभी चावलों के बीच में माँ की मुस्कुराहट दिखाई दी। ताने उलाहनों के पार खिलती मुस्कुराहट, जो अमरूद के साथ काली मिर्च नमक देखकर भी खिल उठती थी। मैंने करछी छोड़ दी और शब्दों को उठा लिया। वह मुस्कुराती है जो माँ मुस्कुराया करती थी। वह मुस्कुराती है जो माँ मुस्कुराया करती थी। Thank you. So it was a very touchy poem because
Yeah.
here you are connecting your daughter and your mother.
Mother, yeah.
Yeah. So it is already 1 o'clock, 1 hour. Do you want to read more poems or we stop
Of course, I will never stop. Unless you say so, I can continue and read for hours.
Wow. Wow. So then you can select your poem. I will try to find out which poem you want to
Okay,
read.
which poem I would love? I love. There's one I will read it for my friend because when I was trying to choose poems, to send you and to tell you that those are the poems I want to read. And I was working on them, and my friend was here, so I was reading him out loud. And there's one he loved, and he said, "You should absolutely read this one." So it's good girls from good family.
Oh, that is actually, that this poem is very, very old, but this poem was universal at that time only.
Yeah,
And long back, I can show you, I don't have now that somebody has taken from my blog this poem and they printed it and they kept in a box, small boxes, and they sent me a full box with that poem, Love the Girls from the Good Family. And they distribute those boxes, small, beautiful boxes. They distribute with this poem. It was like a gift to people. I was very, very actually honored. It was like an award for me, and I do not know who were there because I was not. No, because at that time I was not knowing the word poets. I have not gone outside before that time. That was before going out. Started going out.
Probably girls. Probably girls who did it.
No, it was men. It was men.
Oh.
Yeah.
So. İyi aile kızları. İyi aile kızları uçurtma uçurtmazlar. Uçurtmalar renklidir. Renk arzudur. Yoldan çıkarır arzular. Uçurtmalar kağıttandır. Kağıt yırtılır, beden saflığını yitirir. Uçurtmaların ipleri vardır. İpler çözülür, kaybolurlar. Uçmakla doludur uçurtmalar. Bulutlarla yarışırlar, sinirleri bozulur. İşte bu yüzden iyi aile kızları asla uçurtma uçurmazlar.
Thank you. It was. I will tell you the story afterward, but it was my early poems. But I always love it. भले घर की लड़कियां पतंगे नहीं उड़ाया करती, भले घर की लड़कियां पतंगे नहीं उड़ाया करती, पतंगों में रंग होते हैं, रंगों में चाय होती हैं और इच्छाएं डस जाती हैं। पतंगे कागजी होती है, कागज फंस जाते हैं और देह अपवित्र हो जाती है। पतंगों में डोर होती है, डोर छूट जाती है, राह भटका देती है। इसीलिए तो पतंगों में उड़ान होती है, बादलों से टकराहट होती है, नसें तड़का देती हैं। इसीलिए तो भले घर की लड़कियां पतंगे नहीं उड़ाया करती, भले घर की लड़कियां पतंगे नहीं उड़ाया करती. You know that why I wrote this poem. It was very interesting thing, because the kite, flying kite, those days when I was in Jaipur, Rajasthan, and those days flying kite was actually tradition. So many people, many even girls, family members used to come one day on the 14th of January on the terrace, and they used to fly the kite, and the whole month actually the children were flying kite, and girls, boys, everyone. But this was the phrase used for the girls of middle class, because they don't want them to go on the terrace. So for them that they say that phale ghar ki ladkiyan patange nahi udati hain, means the girls from good family can't fly they should not fly the kite. And it was my pain that why can't I fly the kite, and why can't I go on the terrace and enjoy the sky, because it is beautiful in a winter, looking at the sky and kites. And so I have written many years after this, and then I made it many colors in it and make it very different. That पतंगों में रंग होते हैं, रंगों में इच्छाएं होती है, इच्छाएं डस जाती है. So sometimes the poetry comes from your distant memories, because it could not be a immediate memory, but from 20 years back or 30 years back, what happened to you comes in your poetry. So tell me, any more poem, or it's okay?
It's up to you, really, Rati. Just tell me. You're the moderator. So
no, we both are there. No one else. The audience are very little, so we both are enjoying each other.
So I think let's read 2 more poems.
Okay, fine.
And I will go. To my motherhood tasks. With my son, I think we will go to the garden.
Okay.
So it's sunny, and the weather is beautiful today.
Okay, please. So which are the 2 poems you want to read?
Let's. Tree of Dreams.
Yeah, I was thinking same poem. Okay. Yeah.
Düşlerin Ağacı. O birkaç düş alıp avuçlarıma bıraktı. Kapattım avuçlarımı ve düşü görmeye başladım. Filizlendi tohumlar, köklenip budaklandılar. 2 yaprak derken yükseliyor şimdi orada büyük bir ağaç. Ayrımsıyorum ansızın. Bahçemde yetiştirdiğim ağaç yükseliyor şimdi onların da toprağında.
This was the poem I lost in Hindi, so I have translated yesterday from English to Hindi. सपनों के दरख्त है, उसने कुछ सपने निकाले और मेरी हथेली पर बो दिए. उसने कुछ सपने निकाले और मेरी हथेली पर बो दिए. मैंने भींच ली हथेली और देखने लगी सपने. बीज अंकुरित हुए, फिर निकल आए 2 धागे, फिर जड़, फिर 2 कोंपल, और अब एक दरख्त खड़ा था मेरी हथेली पर. अचानक मैंने देखा कि जिस दरख्त को बोया था मैंने अपने बगीचे में, वो खड़ा है दूसरे के हिस्से में. वो खड़ा है दूसरे के हिस्से में. Yeah, this is.
I love the last verse. It's like
we all feel, we all face in our life. Yeah. So.
Which one? Just tell me.
No. You are chooser.
The west wind and the slithing mother, maybe. Last one.
Okay, I have to search for it. Yes,
Mm.
I think I searched yesterday. I have to search again. Yeah.
It's a good one also. The West Wing and the Siding Mother, it's 46. If you have the book, it's
Which one?
46.
Which one?
46. 46. If you have this one, it's 46.
46. This the same poem you're talking about.
Yeah.
The best. No, I know that. Yesterday I searched in Hindi also.
Mhm,
So
okay.
so I because I wanted to read in Hindi, but now the.
If you want, we can choose another one, Hindi, that you have in front of you.
Yeah, that is actually a beautiful poem. The best, the wind and the sigh is a beautiful poem. But yesterday I searched it and I got it, but today I am not finding it. So let me see that. Yeah, yesterday I kept.
Maybe we can read it in English so we can see how I translated it, maybe for the contrast.
Okay, fine, fine.
You will read it in English, or do you want me to?
No. You read. I will read in English, and you read in French.
Okay.
The 46. Yes.
Yeah. I start?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Batı rüzgarı ve inleyen anne. Batı rüzgarı her estiğinde, aniden çalkaladığında kum çölünü, usulca dağılır kapalı odaların boğuculuğu, yağar annelerin ninnileri. Ne zaman alevlense gökyüzü, ne zaman parçalanarak düşse kulaklarımda dalga dalga çağlar annelerin ninnileri. Ne zaman deniz açsa kollarını göğe, dudaklarımda annelerin soluğuna dönüşen, bardaktan boşanırcasına türküler.
The west wind and sighing mother sigh. As the west wind starts blowing, it begins to rain mother's lullaby. Then it is abruptly put off on the desert sand. The suffocation of closed rooms slowly comes to the end. Today, whenever the sky burns, the star dropping in the pieces, the waves of mother's lullabies enters in my ears. When the hands of the sea rise upwards, songs rain heavily upon my lips and turns into mother's sigh. Thank you. I could get into Hindi, but I'm not. Yesterday it was there, but I'm not finding. Pachua Kirish was not there. Let me see that. Yeah, I have in Hindi.
Yeah.
जब भी पछुआ चलती, माँ की गुनगुनाहट बरस छप छप बुझने लगती, मरुस्थती रेल पर कम हो जाती उमस बंद कमरे की. आज जब भी आसमान तपकर चूने लगता, मेरे कानों में लहराने लगती है माँ के गीत की लहरियां. सागर के हाथ उड़ जाते हैं ऊपर, बरसने लगते हैं गीत छनाछन मेरे ओठों से माँ के निश्वास पर, माँ के निश्वास पर. Thank you. So, Baris, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And it was fantastic. And the best thing is that your mother, your beautiful child, you do all your duties and you are a beautiful daughter. And then you are such an intellectual. You are doing many things. You are a publisher. You are doing the publishing of children book.
I will. I will. I hope so. That's my aim.
And I was also writing children book, and then I stopped in between because I was communicating with my granddaughter, and I was creating stories. And then in between, I got lazy, and then I stopped it. But I should come back. So, and you are translating, and quite good. Another thing, I feel that a poem, a poetry, my poetry, when I read even in English, this poem, I didn't enjoy. But when you read in your Turkish, I enjoy it. Yeah. So, but I always enjoy reading my poem in Hindi only, my language. But
You
when
know
you
why?
read it,
I think why? Because of course, British has a huge oral tradition. But I think it's more in Turkey and in India. We still have this orality, in the syntax of our language, of course, but also in the culture. We still have this aspect. So I think this is why me too. This is why I enjoy you reading in Hindi. So I know, of course, your poems in English, and I love that. But when I hear you reading your poems in Hindi, it's like I understand them
better.
more deeply, and yes, more better than I did in the English version. So yeah.
That is the magic of poetry. That is why I'm saying that for translation poetry, you should have only the poetic heart and understanding of poetry, nothing more, because the language cannot reach to you. You have to reach to the poetry, the feelings. So thanks a lot for your beautiful work. Thanks a lot for and my best wishes that you keep doing. This is your book, and this is an award for me. I always grateful for you, and then I always feel that we can communicate more and more, and next time I will like to translate your some work sometime. I'm anyway working on your father's poetry. There is a problem. There is a problem with your father's poetry, because the poetry, when we translate into our language, it should be a ghazal, or it should be a kind of a structure in which I am poor. I am not very good, but I am working on it, because it should have a structure. A ghazal type of structure.
Ghazal type, yes.
Then only, because the way your father speaks, because I have seen reading his poetry, that it's almost like a ghazal style, that very rhythmic, very rhythmic, very rhythmic. So I have to bring that rhythm, and I will do that. So thanks a lot. This is a good thing. That another thing that what you said, that yes, Turkey culture and our culture, Indian culture, we are very family oriented. And we are connected to our society, our life, our family, and that is why such poems are related, even though we are living very far, but we can connect with these feelings. So moreover, you are also women, I am also woman, so you can understand me, and so my poems belong to you. Thanks a lot, Baris. It was wonderful to talk to you. You are a wonderful person, girl. So my best wishes. We will keep in touch. Nice to talk to you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and yes, hope to see you soon, Rati.
Hope this Corona. Okay, bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.